So sorry I'm late to the party, but here's all the new Salamangreat combos you need to know using the new support and especially Code of Soul. And the cool thing about this is that this applies to both Master Duel and the TCG, since we both got Code of Soul at the exact same time, pretty much. So the first combo is going to be either Salamangreat of Fire or Salamangreat Gazelle, the one card combo. And you can do it with either Gazelle or Fire. It's pretty much the same thing, so I'll show you how to... I guess I'll show you the slight differences with both. So first, if you start with Gazelle, you're going to normal summon Gazelle, and Gazelle is going to send Spinny. Then Spinny, special itself, exceeds these two into Mirage Stalio. Then Mirage Stalio's effect, detaching, doesn't really matter which one. Special summon Salamangreat of Fire from the deck. Salamangreat of Fire will add Weasel to hand. Then you'll link off the Salamangreat of Fire into Gazelle, or Gazelle, into Phalanx. Phalanx with Search Sanctuary, if I had one in deck and didn't draw it. And then, now that you have two Salamangreat monsters in grave, you can use Weasel's effect to special summon itself. And here, after this point, the one card combo with Gazelle and Fire is the exact same. So, let me show you how to get to this point with Fire, I guess. So, if you start with Salamangreat of Fire instead of Gazelle, you would normal summon Fire and add Gazelle, and then link off the Fire into a Phalanx. And then, because we have a Sanctuary in deck this time, we can actually search it with Phalanx, and then trigger Gazelle because Fire was linked off into the grave. And special Gazelle, at Sanctuary, trigger Gazelle's effect to dump Spinny again. Special summon Spinny, and exceeds both of these into Mirage Stalio. And Mirage Stalio, detach either one, and special summon Weasel directly from deck. And here you see the setup is now back to the same setup as with Gazelle. So after this point in the combo, no matter what you started with, Salamangreat of Fire or Gazelle as your one card starter, it's gonna be the same from now on. So you're gonna link all three of these into Promethean Princess. And here, Promethean Princess can bring back whatever. It doesn't really matter what you bring back with this one. So we'll bring back Mirage Stalio because it will give us the biggest Nib token if we get Nibiru. And here, the annoying thing about playing this deck on Master Duel is that Weasel is gonna ask you for a prompt every single time you summon a Salad Link monster or Xyz monster. And you're gonna have to say no to this prompt several times during the course of your combo. So be careful not to accidentally trigger Weasel at like the incorrect time. I'll show you the correct time to use Weasel's effect, but it's not now. Instead, you're gonna link both of these into Raging Phoenix. And I hope you like Raging Phoenix's animation because you're gonna be seeing it a lot. And don't use Weasels yet. Activate the Sanctuary and relink Raging Phoenix. And use Raging Phoenix's effect. Again, don't trigger Weasel yet. And you're going to add Will of the Salamangreat. And you're going to activate Will. Make sure you use its second effect. Send it to the grave, targeting your Raging Phoenix. And now you get the Soul Charge for 4. How silly is that? That you can just literally just search a Soul Charge for 4. And it doesn't even lock you into anything. Alright, so now that you've summoned these 4 back off of Will, you're going to Synchro Summon into Salamangreat Horse Prince. I know this says this is a Fire Fist card. Don't get it twisted. This is in fact a Salamangreat card in disguise. So you're going to use Weasel and Gazelle. Synchro into Horse Prince. And Horse Prince's effect is going to trigger. and you're gonna special summon Cold of Soul from the deck. Make sure you use Cold of Soul's effect. This will let you use Salad Link Monster as the entire material. Again, it's like Sanctuary, so with Cold of Soul you get to basically get 2 Sanctuary Relinks during your combo. Next, link off Horse Prince and Fire into Sprint. Sprite Sprint will dump EMP Mailmine to the grave. Mailmine is basically, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card from the grave. If a Link 2 monster you control is sent to the grave or banished face up, you can banish this card and return a card your opponent controls to their hand. So this is just like another interruption you have on your end board. And you get all this free material, so you might as well do something with it, right? Like linking off the Sprint. And then you're going to link off into Sunlight Wolf using Raging Phoenix and Cold of Soul. And finally you're going to use Weasel's effect. And Weasel, you're going to special summon a monster back to your opponent's field. Doesn't matter too much because it's just going to get popped. But don't be careful not to summon Fire or Gazelle to your opponent's field, because if your opponent happens to be on Salamangreat themselves, then summoning this to their field will let them trigger this effect. So be careful not to do that. So instead we'll summon a Balings, for example, to their field. Summon it to the Sonic Wolf zone, draw a card, and then trigger Promethean Princess, targeting your Spinny, and then the Sonic Wolf, or the Balings, and then trigger Sonic Wolf's effect, because the monster was summoned to a zone Sonic Wolf points to. And you can add back the Gazelle to hand for follow-up. And then Princess will pop these 2, special the Princess. And now because a fire monster you control was popped, you can trigger Raging Phoenix, special targeting the Spinny, and special summon itself back. Then you're gonna link the Raging Phoenix and the Promethean Princess into a Sunlight Wolf. Or what am I saying? Sunlight Wolf into a Pyro Phoenix zone under the Sunlight Wolf. Okay. And afterwards, you're going to link Sunlight Wolf, use Cold of Soul's free relink effect, and then you can use Sunlight Wolf's effect to add back your Will of the Salamangreat for follow-up on your opponent's turn. So here is the end board. Off of just one Gazelle or one Salamangreat of Fire, you have a Pyro Phoenix on the field that, because of Cold of Souls effect in the grave, is during your opponent's main phase, you can banish this card from your grave and then link summon a level 3 or higher Cyberse monster. So what you're gonna do is during your opponent's turn, you're gonna link off Salamangreat Pyro Phoenix into your second copy of Pyro Phoenix, and then when Pyro Phoenix is link summoned using Salamangreat Pyro Phoenix as material, you can destroy all cards your opponents can field. So you're on your opponent's control on their field. So you're gonna nuke their entire field with Pyro Phoenix. On top of that, you have a Promethean Princess engraved as another pop. You have an EMP Mailmine. So for example, Promethean Princess can pop your Sprint, for example, and that will trigger your Mailmine, and then you can bounce another card your opponent controls. Also, you have a Balings engraved for, protecting your own monsters. Also, you still have 7 cards in hand, including 1 Gazelle and Will of the Salamangreat. So you have guaranteed follow-up next turn to just kill your opponent. And this deck runs a lot of hand traps, so as you can see, we also have 5 more cards in hand that could just be additional hand traps. So yeah, off of just one card. This is way more than what Salad used to do before off of just 1 card. Right, the next 1 card combo is just Lady Debug. And yes, this is a build that uses Lady Debug. And I prefer this as my normal summon over Salamangreat of Fire. So because of that, we're going to show you some of Lady Debug lines. And you're going to normal summon Lady Debug, and you're going to add a copy of Salamangreat Gazelle. Next, you're going to link off the Debug into Balings. And Balings is going to search Sanctuary. Now, in order to actually get this Gazelle out of your hand, you do have to activate Sanctuary right here. and you have to relink off the Balinks into another Balinks. This way you can trigger Gazelle to special from your hand. And you're going to Gazelle, you're going to actually send not Spinny, but you're going to send Jack Jaguar. And you're going to Jack Jaguar, put back the Balinks, because we're gonna go through a lot of Balinks in this combo, so you're gonna want some more Balinks back in your extra deck while you're doing this. And next you're gonna link off the Balinks and the Jack Jaguar into Wicked. And here you're gonna link off the Gazelle into another Balinks. This is like the third Balinks you've summoned this turn. And this will trigger Cyber's Wicked. You're gonna banish the Lady Debug from your grave. And you're gonna search Weasel to your hand. Next you're gonna link these off into Promethean Princess. And Promethean Princess, bring back Gazelle, because Gazelle is a level 3. And then special Weasel. And synchro these two off into a Horse Prince. And Horse Prince will special Cold of Soul from your deck. And obviously trigger Cold of Soul. And next you're going to link off Cold of Soul and Promethean Princess into Raging Phoenix. Do not trigger Weasel yet. You're gonna relink into Raging Phoenix. And activate Raging Phoenix effect. And here you can trigger Salamangreat Weasel from grave. And you can give your opponent whatever. Yeah. So give him the Jack Jaguar, we'll draw a card, and then we'll search Roar from our deck. Then trigger Promethean Princess to pop the Horse Prince, pop the Jack Jaguar. And then this will trigger our Raging Phoenix in the grave, the special summon itself into targeting Horse Prince, get the Salamangreat Raging Phoenix back. And then link these two off into a Pyro Phoenix. And I like to, even though the other Raging Phoenix had more attack, I like to link that one off into Pyro Phoenix. That way this doesn't play into the Relinquished Anima, so you don't have to already bait out a, the nuke off of just, like, say it's something as mundane as an Anima. And yeah, now you have a Salamangreat Pyro Phoenix relink with the Cold of Soul during your opponent's turn. Salamangreat Roar on negate, and that was a 1-card combo, so you have 5 other cards in hand. So yeah, these are some cool other cards in hand. And because I forgot to show it off last combo, my bad. So our opponent's gonna do stuff. Okay, and then you're gonna Cold of Soul, relink the Pyro Phoenix into itself. Because we have Sanctuary, we can do that. Then Pyro Phoenix is gonna nuke the entire board. And yeah. Still have Omni Negate, still have all these hand traps that we run. Now let's go over the 2-card combos. And the thing with a lot of these 2-card combos is that you can search both Salamangreat Roar and Rage, the 2 trap cards, if you run both of them. I'm personally not running both of them in my build because I don't want to draw them going second. They're quite honestly pretty bad going second, and I feel like the board that you make going first is strong enough already, even without the Rage. Since, like, you have an Omni in the game with Roar, and then you have a nuke with Pyro Phoenix. Like, how many times do you really need to nuke your opponent's board, right? But yeah, I'll show you the combos that you do when you only run one Salad Trap, but I'll also mention when you can add Rage instead in the combo too, if for those that do run Rage in their build. So the first combo is going to be Spinny and Lady Debug, or Spinny plus Gazelle. They're pretty much the exact same combo. So here, because we have Lady Debug, I'm going to Lady Debug normal summon and add Gazelle and link off the Debug into Balinks. I'll add Sanctuary, and then I'll discard Spinny to target Balinks, and that will trigger Gazelle. Summon Gazelle. Gazelle effect will dump Salamangreat Roar, and then Spinny will special summon itself. And this is the point where everything else is the exact same, whether you started with Gazelle or Lady Debug. If you started with Gazelle instead of Debug, all you would do is normal summon the Spinny first, and then link off the Spinny, and then special the Gazelle, and then dump the Roar, and then special summon back the Spinny. It would be the exact same as what you have right here. Okay, so moving on, Ixies these two into Marat Stalio. Then use Marat Stalio, detaching, to special summon Salamangreat of Fire from your deck. Activate Fire and search your Weasel. Now you can link all three of these into Promethean Princess. And then Promethean Princess, bring back a level 3 Salad. So Gazelle or Spinny. Then you can special summon Weasel. Then Weasel plus Gazelle will make Horse Prince. And Horse Prince effect, special summon that Cold of Soul from deck. Activate Cold of Soul. Link off Cold of Soul and Promethean Princess into Raging Phoenix, number 1. We gotta say no to the Weasel prompts now. Relink to the second Raging Phoenix. And then use Raging Phoenix effect, Chainlink 1, and then Chainlink 2, use Roar to set itself from the grave. So now you get the Omnigate back, and don't use Weasel yet. So set Roar, and search your will. If you ran Roar and Rage here, you would just search Rage instead. Then you would end on both traps, and you would trigger your Weasel in that case, since you wouldn't be adding Will. And then you would end on Pyro Phoenix, Raging Phoenix, and then both Salamangreat traps if you ran Rage. But since I'm running not running Rage, I'm running Will, so I'm gonna add Will and activate Will's effect, sending it, targeting Raging Phoenix, and then special summon these 4 back. 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to link off Gazelle and Salamangreat of Fire into Sprint. Use Sprint to dump your Mail Mine. And here, I'm going to link off Raging Phoenix and the Weasel into a Sunlight Wolf. And here, you'll trigger Weasel. It's targeting, you can give your opponent whatever. Just don't give him Gazelle or Fire in case they're playing Salamangreat, obviously. Summon it to the Sunlight Wolf zone, draw a card, nice draw. Then use Sunlight Wolf effect and Promethean Princess. Popping your Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear, or Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Horse Prince, aka Salamangreat Horse Prince. Now get your Promethean Princess. And Sunlight Wolf will add back your Gazelle for follow-up. And then this will trigger your Salamangreat Raging Phoenix from grave, and you're gonna target your Horse Prince, summon it back, and it's just a huge like heckin' chonker right now. And activate Sanctuary. I'm going to link Pyro Phoenix using Spinny and the Freaking Princess into the zone underneath the Sunlight Wolf. And then using Sanctuary's relink, I'm gonna relink the Sunlight Wolf. And Sunlight Wolf will add back the Will. So here with this combo, we end on Salamangreat Roar and Omni Negate plus the Pyro Phoenix with the Code of Soul engraved to nuke your opponent's board on their turn. You also have the Reaving Princess engraved. We have the Mailmine bounce as well. And for follow-up, we added back Gazelle plus Will of the Salamangreat as follow-up. So if their opponent doesn't kill us this turn, they're basically dead on the next turn, and it's going to be really hard to kill us through this board plus 5 plus like 2 forms of follow-up plus 4 other cards in hand because we drew one. Look at all this non-engine too. Like, you're gonna have to beat the nuke, the Omni Negate, the engraved disruptions, and then beat like 3 hand traps on top of that. Like, come on. And also, this line, also we have a free Raging Phoenix on the field, so this is like a 5k attack monster. So they also have to, you know, kill us through this because there's another Raging Phoenix engraved as well. So if they want to get rid of our monsters by destroying them, well, this is just going to come back again, and it's going to come back even bigger. So good luck trying to OTK past this. This also happens to play around Super Poly a bit better because you have 3 solid names on the field, so even if you get Super Poly'd, your Roar is always going to be live because nobody's going to play the fucking Guard Dragon Armaduke, the Super Poly 3-link monster. So no matter which 2 they Super Poly, your Roar is still going to be live. So that's nice. And then on your opponent's turn, you're gonna do stuff. Then you're gonna Code of Soul, link into Pyro Phoenix again, using Sanctuary as the whole material. Summon it to the Sunlight Wolf zone. You can trigger both Pyro Phoenix and Sunlight Wolf to add back another monster from your grave as follow-up. You can even trigger Gazelle right now if you wanted to dump another Salad monster to grave and add even more follow-up on the next turn in case you didn't have enough already. But yeah, you can add a Salamangreat of Fire back to your hand. You could recycle a Pyro Phoenix too, you're nuking your opponent's board, and so on. So this next combo is going to be Salamangreat of Fire plus either Spinny or Gazelle. So we're gonna add our Gazelle, you know, off the circle just to show it, and then Salamangreat of Fire, Synormal Summon, and you're gonna add the other one you don't have. So if you had Spinny, you add Gazelle. If you had Gazelle, you would add Spinny to hand. Then link it off into Phalanx. Search us our Sanctuary, and then trigger Gazelle as well. And special the Gazelle. Get Sanctuary. Gazelle effect. It's gonna dump Roar. Then you're gonna trigger Spinny. And then special throws the Spinny from grave. And going to exceed these 2 into Mirage Salio. And then Mirage Salio will detach either of these, and you're going to summon Weasel directly from your deck. As you're going to see, with a lot of these combos, it involves you trying to get Gazelle, Spinny, Fire plus Weasel all into circulation at the same time. That sets up the optimal soul charge. I mean, the optimal will of the Salamangreat. Now, we do have 1 less link material in this combo compared to the last combo. Since we started with Salamangreat of Fire, we didn't summon it from the deck and get the search for free, so we're going to have to make Promethean Princess here first, directly. And we can't make the Horsemans yet. So summon Promethean Princess, and Promethean Princess is going to revive back anything, doesn't really matter because you're just going to link it off. This is like, now you're doing the standard 1-card combo at this point. except you dumped a Roar in the grave, so now you get the Roar back while doing the normal 1-card combo stuff. So this should be really familiar. Summon the Raging Phoenix. Do not trigger Weasel yet. Activate Sanctuary. And relink the Raging Phoenix into another Raging Phoenix. Trigger Raging Phoenix, and then trigger Roar. And don't trigger Weasel right now. There's we're gonna do that later. So we get the Roar back, and Raging Phoenix is gonna add us Will of the Salamangreat. Gonna activate Will, and then Will send itself and Soul Charge for 4. Boom, 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 boom. And now you're going to synchro into Horse Prince now with a Weasel and Gazelle. And Horse Prince will summon the Cold of Soul from your deck. Trigger Cold of Soul. Link off the Horse Prince and the Salamangreat of Fire into Spinny. Spinny will dump Meowmine. Then Raging Phoenix plus Cold of Soul into Silent Wolf. Now trigger the Weasel on the Silent Wolf summon. Give your opponent whatever, we'll give him like a Balinx. So to the Silent Wolf zone, draw a card, trigger Silent Wolf and Promethean Princess. Popping the Spinny and the Balinx. The Promethean Princess will come out. Silent Wolf will add us follow-up for the next turn in Gazelle. Trigger Raging Phoenix to special itself back, targeting the Spinny. There's a lot of animations going on, so this is like old Adam Emancipator, just taking a bunch of time because you just have a bunch of summon animations. So now Pyro Phoenix with Raging Phoenix and Promethean Princess. Thank God this doesn't have an animation. And then relink Silent Wolf with itself using the Cold of Soul effect. And now you can add back your Will for follow-up on the next turn. So this is basically just the 1-card combo with Gazelle and Fire, except you have an additional Salamangreat Roar Omni Negate as well. And of course, you know, we drew a card, so we have 6 cards in hand, including 3 non-engine plus 2 follow-up plus a random draw, so yeah. Alright, so this next 2-card combo is going to be Lady Debug plus either Gazelle or Cold of Soul. And this is going to be a lot different than the other 2-card combos since we're not actually going through Salamangreat of Fire at all. So with Lady Debug, you're going to normal summon it, and if you have Gazelle already, you're going to search Cold of Soul to hand. This is the only Lady Debug is the only main deck monster that can search Cold of Soul. So yeah, now you're going to have Debug and these 2 in hand. You're going to link off into Balinx and add your Sanctuary. And now Cold of Soul has an effect in hand too. If you control Link Monster, you can just special summon this. It's an extender that way. So special summon Cold of Soul, activate Cold of Soul's effect, and next link both of these off into Cyber's Wicked. And now you can trigger Gazelle and summon Gazelle to a zone that Cyber's Wicked points to. And now you can decide which one you want to chain block. You can either chain block the Wicked search or the Gazelle dump. So Wicked is going to search your Weasel, banishing Debug, and Gazelle is going to dump your Salamangreat Spinny. Yeah, and we could add the Weasel to hand. And now you can special summon the Weasel You can do this next misset moves in like any order you want. You can, as long as you end up in the same spot, so it doesn't really matter at this point. Your opponent has a hand trap, so they most likely would have tried to interact with you already. But yeah, go into Weasel, link Synchro into Horse Prince, and then trigger Horse Prince. And we already got Code of Soul, so what are we summoning from the deck? Right, we're summoning Royal Ash Blossom. This is a combo that can search Ash Blossom, and I know we already have an Ash in hand, but anytime you have the opportunity to get a Royal Ash out of your deck, you get the Royal Ash out of your deck. Okay, and then you link summon Wicked and Horse Prince into Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess, bring back a level 3, either Gazelle or Weasel. I'll bring back Gazelle. And then special back the Spinny. Could have special back the Spinny earlier too. No matter when. And then you're gonna Xyz, Gazelle, and Spinny into Mirage Stallion. And Mirage Stallion, do not trigger Weasel. Mirage Stallion, detach, special summon a Jack Jaguar from deck. And now, link off Promethean Princess plus the Mirage Stallion into Raging Phoenix. And now you're going to trigger your Mirage Stallion effect to bounce your Ash Blossom to your hand. So now you've effectively searched Ash Blossom in this combo. And now with the Code of Soul relink the Raging Phoenix into a second Raging Phoenix. Don't use Weasel here just yet. And here you'll search your Salamangreat Roar. And then link these two off into Sonic Wolf. Again, do not trigger your Weasel here just yet. You don't have another monster to pop yet on field. So to do that, we're going to use Jack Jaguar, and you can put back whatever you want to recycle. You can recycle your Raging Phoenix now since you only run 2, but you can put this back in your extra deck if you want. You could recycle the Mirage Stallion, or you can just recycle a Balings. And summon back the Balings, or summon back the Jack Jaguar to the Silent Wolf zone. And add back your Gazelle for follow-up. And now I'm going to relink into the Balings that I just put back with the Jack Jaguar. And that's going to trigger our Weasel. And we're going to summon back the Jack Jaguar to our opponent. Doesn't matter what zone now because we already triggered the Silent Wolf add back from grave. Nice draw. Promethean Princess is going to pop the Balings plus the Jack Jaguar. And then that's going to trigger our Raging Phoenix. So Raging Phoenix is going to come back. And you're going to link Raging Phoenix and Promethean Princess into your Pyro Phoenix. And here, we haven't even used the second relink of Sanctuary yet. So if you started your turn with Salamangreat Circle, you could actually relink the Silent Wolf into another Silent Wolf using Sanctuary, and then you can add back the Circle too for even more follow-up in case you didn't need it already. But yeah, this combo searches Ash Blossom. You have the Pyro Phoenix with the Code of Soul nuke on your opponent's turn. You have Promethean Princess. You drew a card. You add the Salamangreat Gazelle back, and you still have 6 other cards in hand besides the Gazelle too. Or yeah, you still have 6 cards in hand after the end of this combo. So yeah. Alright, so you might have noticed by now that this extra deck doesn't have any of the usual culprits that Cyber's decks use to actually OTK your opponent, you know, like Access Code or Update Jammer or stuff like that. And you trust me, you do not need that with this deck. You can do your entire OTK line, popping your opponent's field, and do that locked under fire the whole time. So let's show a sample OTK line. So this is literally just Gazelle. So with just one Gazelle, you're gonna dump your Spinny, special Spinny, Go into Mirage Stalio. And Mirage Stalio. Detach. This summon Salad of Fire. Salad of Fire effect. Add your Weasel. Link off your Salad of Fire into Phalanx to search Sanctuary. Search the Sanctuary. And now you can link off, since we're going second, we can link off the Phalanx and the Mirage Stalio. And now you can trigger Mirage Stalio's effect to bounce one of your opponent's monsters to bait out of the interaction that way. And now you can special summon Weasel. And I wouldn't use Salamangreat of Slime Wolf's effect right now to add back because you're planning to kill them this turn, right? So you don't need to, and you get to keep the Gazelle engraved for now. So I won't do that. That was just to trigger the Mirage Stalio to bounce a card. And now you link these two into Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess will bring back whatever. And then don't trigger Weasel yet. Link off into your Raging Phoenix 1. Activate Sanctuary. Make your Raging Phoenix 2. And search your Soul Charge. Imagine being able to search Soul Charge going second to help OTK your opponent. Activate Will. Will send itself, targeting this Raging Phoenix. Special summon 4 back. Boom. 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 Make a Horse Prince. We're doing the full line here. If your opponent hasn't stopped you by now, you know, there's a high chance that they don't have really anything relevant to stop you. Summon Horse Prince. Get the Cold of Soul. Trigger Cold of Soul. And now you can do two things here. You can either link off into Sprint to dump Mailmine, and then Mailmine will bounce another card your opponent controls, or you could just, you know, not do anything fancy and just link into Pyro Phoenix right now with these 4 and use the relink effect of Weasel of Cold of Soul to link Pyro Phoenix, and you're going to nuke your opponent's entire field now because you just relinked the Pyro Phoenix. So nice board you have there. Now trigger Weasel. Give your opponent your Pyro Phoenix. Give your opponent your Pyro Phoenix. And summon that out there. And now trigger your Pyro Phoenix effect. Pyro Phoenix has another effect, by the way. If a linked monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, you can target one of those monsters and inflict damage to your opponent equal that monster's attack. So you're going to trigger Promethean Princess, popping your Raging Phoenix, and then popping the Pyro Phoenix, and then trigger Pyro Phoenix's effect to dome your opponent for 28. Just boom, take the 28 right there. And don't use Phalanx to protect. It'll summon back the Promethean Princess. And then you can trigger your Salamangreat Raging Phoenix engraved, the special summon Raging Phoenix back. And now it's going to be buff. It's going to be 5600. So you essentially, without access code, you still nuked your opponent's entire field and then burned them for 28, and now you're going to battle phase with this. So this is 56, 27, 28. So that's like 14,000, around 14,000 damage. The exact math doesn't matter. Your opponent's dead. Okay, the end of the result of the math is that your opponent is dead from all this. And literally, this was one Salamangreat Gazelle got you an OTK through like 6 dying Ketos. Alright, we're in Edo Pro now, which means now we're going to be talking about the elephant in the room, or in our case, the big giant rock, Nibiru, and how to play around it with Salad. And I cannot nib myself in Master Duel yet, so to make it easier, we're just going to show this next combo in Edo Pro. And there are lines that you have to play around Nibiru, and I'll show them and discuss the pros and cons, and whether it's worth it to go for them and respect Nib or not. So most of them are going to involve opening 2 of Lady Debug, Gazelle, or Spinny. So, for example, let's say we have Spinny and Gazelle. Normal summon Spinny. And these combos are going to be different from the 2-card combos I just showed you, because though all of those 2-card combos do play into Nib. But here you're going to link into Bailings, activate Bailings effect, and you're not going to use Gazelle here. This is where the difference already starts. So you're going to add Sanctuary, then you're going to special back the Spinny. And the key to these combos that play around Nib is that you are making Cyber's Wicket on the 4th summon. And then the 5th summon is going to be summoning Gazelle to the Cyber's Wicket zone. This way you get to search Salamangreat Weasel with Wicked on the 5th summon before they have a chance to Nibiru you. And you're going to use Gazelle here too. So now at any point, now Nibiru is live, but you have a Weasel in hand, which means that at any point, if they do Nibiru you, you can special summon the Weasel from your hand and continue playing. So we're going to dump Jaguar with Gazelle, and we're going to add Weasel to hand. Now, the thing is that in order to continue playing around Nibiru, you have to keep this Weasel in hand. As long as they haven't Nibiru'd you yet, you have to continue keeping this Weasel in hand. You can't actually use it as an extender to extend your plays, because the moment you summon it, you're going to get washed by Nibiru. So now you're going to link off the Gazelle into another Bailings, and let's pretend your opponent hasn't Nibiru'd you yet. You're going to go into Promethean Princess, and then special back whatever with Promethean Princess, and then link into Raging Phoenix, and then activate Sanctuary, and link off into another Raging Phoenix, and then use Raging Phoenix effects. You're gonna add your Roar, and this is as far as you can go if you wanna stay playing around Nibiru the entire time. Let's say you got all the way to the end and your opponent hasn't Nibiru'd you. Your opponent hasn't Nibiru'd you yet. That means you cannot use this Weasel yet, because you have to continue playing around it. So you're gonna end on Raging Phoenix plus Roar with a Promethean Princess engraved. And this is the absolute latest point that they can Nibiru you now. So now let's try to leave the main phase and say your opponent Nibiru's you now at the end of main phase. So you're gonna lose your Raging Phoenix, and you're gonna get a token. And now you're free to summon Weasel from your hand, the one that you held in the case of Nibiru. So you're gonna special Weasel, and you're gonna link the Weasel into Bailings, and that's gonna trigger your Weasel's effect. Give your opponent your Bailings to your weakest monster, and then draw a card, and then trigger Promethean Princess, popping your Bailings and popping the Nibiru. And that's gonna trigger your Raging Phoenix to special summon itself back. And now there's no point linking this into Pyro Phoenix, because you don't have Code of Soul. This line does not access Code of Soul, so there's really no point in actually making the Pyro Phoenix itself. So instead, you're gonna make Sunlight Wolf with Raging Phoenix and the Promethean Princess to put the Promethean Princess back. And now, yeah, this is gonna be your end board. So you're gonna have through the Nibiru, you're gonna have a Sunlight Wolf and a Salamangreat Roar. So the pros is that the entire time you do play around Nibiru, so at minimum, you're gonna end on a Roar with a Promethean Princess engraved. At the same time, your best end board that you can produce while still playing around Nibiru is, at best, if your opponent doesn't Nibiru you, it's going to be Raging Phoenix plus Roar with a Promethean Princess engraved. And just on the, like, by 2024 standards, just having the Roar Omni Negate plus a Promethean Princess pop is very mid. So it's going to depend on what else you have in your hand, right? If you, say, have 2 to 3 more actual good non-engine, like you have here, then you can maybe settle with just having the one Omni from Roar and the pop from Promethean Princess. If your hand is like just a bunch of engine and a bunch of salad monsters in hand instead of non-engine and hand traps, then just one Roar and one Promethean Princess pop is likely not going to be enough to stop your opponent's turn, especially if they're on something like Snake Eyes, for example. So that's one thing to consider, the rest of your hand, whether your hand is strong enough to still be able to stop your opponent even if you make the most safest board through Nibiru. And the other thing is to consider how the common Nibiru is going to be in the format that you play in, especially for game ones. Because post-side, you're probably going to have to consider Nibiru more heavily because people are most likely going to just side it in knowing you're playing Salad. But game 1, assess how popular Nibiru actually is and whether it's worth it to try playing around Nibiru. And also, this is a Master Duel thing, but most decks in Master Duel don't actually play 3 Nibirus, even if Nibiru is popular and they still play it. You're most likely just going to see 1, maybe 2 copies in most Master Duel decks, because they're just going to run it as a card that you can draw into off of the maxi and as a cross-out target. But very rarely are you going to see all 3 copies in a typical Master Duel deck, so also keep that in mind too. So this is what an example Salamangreat deck would look like right now, and I'll leave the untapped GG code in the description so that you can build this for yourself very fast. Now, if you're interested in watching some gameplay of this deck, maybe on Ranked, and if you want a more detailed explanation of this deck, let me know, because I'm just going to go over the ratios really quickly. So, the 3 Gazelle, the 1 Foxy, the 1 Jack Jaguar, and the 1 Weasel, I think these are all standard in pretty much every list. The Foxy is like honestly one of the biggest draws to play Salad, because unlike every other Cybers deck, you don't actually lose the Floodgates that hard because you have an in-engine out that's searchable to just out Floodgates, so that's really nice. And the 1 Cold Soul. And we're playing a Lady Debug build, so I'm running 3 Lady Debug as my preferred normal summon over Salamangreat of Fire. If you want to play a Salamangreat of Fire build, you could run more Salamangreat of Fire, and you could also run stuff like Cybers or Flame Buffalo instead of a Lady Debug, for example. I'm still running 2 Salamangreat of Fire because I just want to see starters. Because if you don't open a starter, obviously, and this deck doesn't have infinite starters as is, so I am putting the second Salamangreat. That way you have the ratio of 5 normal summons in a 40 card deck between 3 Debug and 2 Fire. So to, on average, open 1 normal summon but not open more than 1. And to add the Salamangreat of Fire, I cut the Spinny to 2 because Spinny, while it is involved in all the good combos, Spinny itself is not a starter. So if you open Spinny by itself and like nothing else, it doesn't get you anywhere. So I cut this down to just as to 2 of, and you can, if you have 2, you can still, search it whenever. 2 is usually all you need. You only, in the lines that end up banishing a Spinny, you only really banish 1, so you still have access to the other one. And then 2 Mining, 3 Circle, because these are what they're at. Thank you a lot, MathMech. The 1 Sanctuary, the 1 Will, Called by the Grave, Cross Out, and then a bunch of hand traps. I ran as much hand traps as I can. Imperm, the Baylor, Maxi, Ash, and I even fit in a 14th hand. I've run a 1 of Nibiru and Ghostmourner. Nibiru is kind of just for a cross out, and Mourner is like the 40th slot because I wanted just more non-engine for this format. And I'll talk about EMP Meowmine. So Meowmine, as you saw in the combo, it was to dump with Sprint to get you an extra balance as an extra interruption. And I figured it's still worth running because you get when you go for the Will line, you just get a lot of extra bodies. And in place of this, a lot of people run stuff like Rage as the second Salad Trap. So I like the Mailmine line because going first, I can go for the Will instead of the Rage and still end on like a decent board without the Rage and still get this as an interruption. But going second, this card is actually really nice to draw going second, because it's worded where if there's a Link Monster, field or graveyard, you can just special summon this from your hand. That's a free extender. And then if a Link 2 monster you control is sent to the grave or banished, you can just bounce one of your opponent's cards. So literally, during your combo, you can just literally just link climb with the Mailmine, and then when you link off something like, say, a Salamangreat Sonic Wolf, you can then just bounce your opponent's cards for free during your combo, like just to help play through boards that way. It also combos extremely well with SP Little Knight, so you can make an SP, and then SP will banish a card, and then SP will use its other effect to banish itself and another monster face up. And then because your SP was banished face up, now you can trigger EMP Mailmine and bounce another card. So literally, if you make SP with like a Mailmine, you can get rid of 3 cards on your opponent's board just like that, and that's pretty crazy. That's another reason why we're running the Lady Debug, preferred Lady Debug over Fire, because Fire locks you, and if you're fire locked, you can't do stuff like SP Little Knight and break through your opponent's board, or like help break through your opponent's board, and you also can't do the Cyber's Wicket lines that you can use to play around the Nibiru, as I've shown. So yeah, I actually really like this card. I was considering cutting it for a bit, but I might just play with it a bit more. And the extra deck is 1 Horse Prince, 1 Salio, 3 Balinks. If you're really good at managing resources, you could potentially cut Balinks down to 2. You technically never need the 3rd Balinks, and you can always put it back with stuff like Jack Jaguar, but it is risky, and there are some weird hands that require you to link off Balinks, so in those cases you would want the 3rd one. The 1 Wicked, 2 Sonic Wolf is all you need now. Sonic Wolf doesn't really add back your spell traps that much anymore. The way you get your Roar, for example, is through Raging Phoenix now, so this isn't as important to run a 3. Spiritness from the Mailmine, SP, Princess, double Pyro Phoenix, so you can nuke your opponent's board on their turn, and then just 2 Radiant Phoenix. Again, you don't really need 3 of any of the Salamangreat monsters. If you manage your resources properly enough, you could just get away with 2, and then use combinations of like Sonic Wolf add backs on your extra deck monsters and Jack Jaguar just to cycle your resources. And games shouldn't last too long to where you're in the too much of a grind to where you need the 3rd copies of your Link monsters too much. And also for additional options, Salamangreat Charge is actually really nice. I actually would consider running Charge before running Rage as an additional Salamangreat search target, because this is another way to recycle your resources. You can shuffle 2 banished or monsters in your graveyard back, and then special summon a remaining monster. And what's nice about this is this also plays, if you have this turn 1, it also plays around board breakers that are somewhat problematic for you to deal with, such as Super Poly or Tribute removal like Kaiju's or Lava Golem, because then they can just get rid of your Pyro Phoenix and your Link monsters, and then suddenly stuff like your Roar is dead, and then suddenly your Cold of Soul does nothing because you have nothing to link off to anymore. But if you have like a Charge, for example, and if they hit you with like a Lava Golem or a Super Poly, you can just summon back the Pyro Phoenix using the Salamangreat Charge, and then your Cold of Soul is still alive, and then your Salad Trap is obviously still alive. So you can play through pesky removal like that with Salamangreat Charge, which is really nice. And obviously it recycles resources, and if it has a niche effect where you can also get the pops sometimes. Mirror is just probably the best other extender you can run in Salad. You can just add this off of like a Circle or a Mining, then you can special summon it, no questions asked. Also, unlike the other extenders, you don't need like specific numbers of Salamangreat monsters in grave, and you don't need to control a Salad monster to special summon. You can just summon this just if you just add it willy-nilly, so that's another option. And obviously Hita, because we're in a Fire format and Snake Eyes is still the best deck, and Rescue Ace is still everywhere, so if you want, you can maybe consider cutting the third Bailings for a Hida as well, because this is definitely useful in this format. So yeah, if you watch all the way through here, thank you. Like, holy shit, this is a long video, and let me know if you want to see more from this deck.